region can have a significant impact on sustainable tourism. Sustainable tourism means developing the tourism sector by paying attention to the environment, culture, and local community. Ensuring that the growth of the tourism sector does not destroy natural resources of our local community. The following are some of the impact that infrastructure development can have on sustainable tourism in Papua. 1. Accessibility. Infrastructure development, such as roads, port, and airports, increase accessibility to Papua region, which increase the number of tourism coming. However, it is necessary to ensure that development is carried out taking into account its impact the environment and local culture. 2. Environment conservation. Infrastructure development must pay attention to the preserving Papua rich and natural environment. This includes preserving biodiversity and marine ecosystem. Negative impact, because diverse environmental degradation and population must be avoided. Support for local community. Infrastructure development must provide benefit to local community. This can mean employment opportunity, additional income and social development. In this way, local community can feel the positive impact of tourism. Culture preservation. Papua has variety of ethnic groups and unique culture. Infrastructure development must pay attention to preservation of this culture and encourage local community participants in the tourism industry. Responsible tourism management. The curve sustainable tourism, there needs to be good management. This includes monitoring the number of tourism, building environmentally friendly accommodation, and properly managing national park on conservation area. Local economy empowerment. Infrastructure development should encourage the development of local business and small entrepreneurs. This can create jobs and improve the economic level of local community. Environmentally education awareness. Infrastructure development can also be used as an opportunity to increase environmentally awareness and sustainable tourism education. Next slide, conclusion. It's important to know that infrastructure development must be closely monitored and regulated to ensure the negative impact are minimized, while positive impact are maximized. Collaboration between government, tourism industry, and local communities is very important, achieving sustainable tourism in Papua. Thank you.
All right, what a great presentation from Miss Kartika from International Relations. And the next one, we will hear the second presentations from Mr. Akash Tyagi from India, and the title is Tourism Development, Management Understandably in Rural Condition. Is it rural conditions? Is it join with us in the Zoom? Is it with us? Or we're still joining in with us? Akash Tyagi from India.
Recording in progress.
Akash, are you still with us? Still join with us?
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
All right. We continue to the the third presentations of today. Please welcome and give a big applause to Miss Arianda Gading Novia Mutiara with the title of Indonesians Diplomatic Effort Towards Prambanan Temple Tourism. I remind all of you guys that this session is not having a question and answer session. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Arindra Gadinovia Mutiara. I'm from the International Relations Study Program. I will present about Indonesia diplomatic effort towards Prambanan Temple tourism as a world cultural heritage. Contents 1. Introduction to research methodology, 3. Theoretical foundation for result and analysis, 5. Conclusion. Introduction. Next. Introduction. Tourism with its cultural value, namely Prambanan Temple, is one of the historical tourist attraction in the region, special Yogyakarta, which is always consistent in the process of improving and developing tourism. Its strategic location, supported by easy transportation access, make Prambanan Temple famous among the domestic and foreign tourists. The influence of Prambanan Temple in the history of development of Hinduism in Southeast Asia is a special attraction for tourists. Prambanan Temple is as one unit. As a World Cultural Heritage Site, Prambanan Temple tourism must be processed so that it can become a source of identity and inspiration for the community and visitors. If the best strategies and programs are present, these tourists can provide financial resource for local communities and introduction to the host culture for foreign visitors. Next. Research methodology. In this research, the approach used is a qualitative approach. The data collection technique in this research will use secondary data. Secondary data is that processed by other people, which is subsequently published. The data was obtained by examining library research routes such as book, journal, and website related to diplomatic strategies, which were the subject of the analysis. In data analysis techniques, the author used data reduction techniques to assess the data in this qualitative research. This means that information collected through literature review, web search is used for research purposes in accordance with research requirements. Next. Theoretical foundation. Cultural diplomacy is a form of power diplomacy and part of public diplomacy carried out by a country to advance and protect national interests. There are various aspects that are part of cultural diplomacy activities, including art, language, and information. Cultural diplomacy is an alternative useful for achieving state policy objective, the aim of cultural diplomacy is to increase recognition awareness of Indonesia culture research and reputation in international forum and community as well as globally to foster the mainstreaming of Indonesia culture and comparison with other countries in the field of culture. Next. Result and analysis. Prambanan Temple is the large Hindu temple complex in Indonesia which was built in the 9th century to dedicate it to Lord Shiva. In the Prambanan Temple Tourist Park complex, apart from the three Trimurti temples named Shiva, Brahma, and Vishnu temples, there are also small temples surrounding them. Prambanan Temple was built in various shapes and decorated with beautiful relief depicting the Indonesia version of the Ramayana epic. Surrounded by more than 200 temples arranged in the three parts, it displays architectural and cultural splendor as well as evidence of life in the past. The unique queens created by this cultural tourism site is a driving factor in the level of domestic and foreign tourist visit. As a tourist destination was attraction are historical buildings. Prambanan Temple is also include cultural heritage tourism. The most important attribute of cultural tourism is authenticity, or at least the perception of the destination itself. The Prambanan Temples complex was designed a national cultural heritage in 2998, and national legislation passed in 2010 also support the protection and conservation of the property. Next. Prambanan Temple is not only used for tourism, but tourists can experience the Prambanan Jazz Festival. Prambanan Jazz Festival is an international scale jazz music event held in the courtyard of Prambanan Temples. The Prambanan Jazz Festival was first held on October 16, 2015 and continues to take place regularly every year. The Prambanan Jazz Festival is intended as a form of long-term synergy to introduce Indonesia tourism, especially Prambanan Temple and its surrounding to the international world. The Prambanan Jazz Festival also aims to be an artists who perform are a mix of national musicians and international musicians. It is not surprising that Prambanan Temple is a favorite place for tourists. The presence of world-class annual concerts held in the courtyard of historic buildings in Indonesia and even throughout the world is a special attraction for current guests and foreign tourists. Next. Cultural diplomacy through the Prambanan Jazz Festival is currently different when compared to the various soft power diplomacy that the Indonesia government often intensive informal meeting between countries and through international organizations. Public diplomacy through this music festival has success in becoming a public diplomacy tool in various diplomat countries. Indonesia as a country that has various public diplomacy resources must take advantage of the Prambanan Jazz Festival to strengthen Indonesia public diplomacy in the international world and can also become the main destination for forage tourists to enjoy jazz music festival with jazz music background historical building. Furthermore, to optimize the Prambanan Jazz Festival, government support is needed, and also the cooperation of all Indonesia people to participate in carrying out public diplomacy in this festival at the international level. Next. Conclusion. Prambanan Temple is a Hindu temple which is a World Cultural Heritage. Prambanan Temple is recognized by UNESCO. Prambanan Temple has attracted local and foreign tourists. At Prambanan Temple, there is the Prambanan Jazz Festival, which aims to be an alternative music concert that display local cultural wisdom on the global stage. Prambanan Temple is a favorite place for tourists. The presence of international class annual concerts held in historic buildings in Indonesia and even throughout the world is a special attraction for concert goers and local and foreign tourists. Thank you for your attention.
All right, once again, give a big applause to Miss Arinda for delivering her presentations for today. And now we continue. Is it online with us, Miss Mixa Disik from Uzbekistan? Is there any confirmation on the Zoom? Do we have Miss Samixa? If there's no Miss Samixa, we have to continue to the next presentation. Is it? There's no Miss Samixa? We have? Okay, that's wonderful. We are continue to the next presentations. This presenters, the fifth presenter for today, please welcome Miss Diva Devina Dewanto from Universitas Nasional International Relations with the title of Community-Based Tourism Enterprise in Indonesia, a driver for economic resilience. Once again, these sessions not have a Q&A sessions. Thank you so much.
Check. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good afternoon, everyone, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and fellow participants. It's an honor for me to be here to present my presentation about community-based tourism in Indonesia, driving economic resilience. Okay, as we see together on the screen, let's jump to the next page, please. Okay, before we begin to explain about my topic, I'm going to explain what is the community-based tourism. Community-based tourism is a type of sustainable tourism involving local communities in developing and managing tourism activities. It is a way to empower local communities, preserve their cultural heritage, and promote economic resilience. In community-based tourism has been gaining popularity as way as to diversity to the tourism industry and promote sustainable development. This presentation will provide an overview of community-based tourism and will explain the benefits and challenges, success stories in Indonesia. And I will explain too the best practice and its potential to drive economic resilience, especially in Indonesia. Okay, next to the next page, please. Okay. As we know together, all participants, Bali is one of most popular places to destination in Indonesia. In Bali, community-based tourism is really popular. As we know together, in Bali, community-based tourism has become a popular way for local communities to benefit from tourism while preserving their culture and environment. Let's next to the next page, please. Okay. In this presentation, I decided to choose the village of Pangalipuran, located in Bali, as my case of study today that I will present to all of you guys. Pangalipuran is a traditional Balinese village that has implemented community-based tourism. Visitors can experience the village's unique architecture, customs, and daily life through guided tour and homestays with local families. Let's next, please. Okay, in this slide, I'm going to tell all of you guys the benefits for the community who implementing the community-based tourism. There is several benefits for Bali or especially for Indonesia who implementing the community based on tourism. The first is cultural preservation. As we know together that Desa Pangalipuran is committed to preserving its traditional Balinese culture. The community continues to practice age-old customs and rituals, allowing visitors to experience the rich cultural heritage of Bali. And the next benefit is ecotourism. The village promotes sustainable and economic-friendly tourism practice. This includes the use of organic farming methods, minimal waste generation, and the protection of the natural environment. So, by doing so, the community helps conserve Bali, beautiful landscape, and foster an eco-conscious approach to tourism. Next. Okay, the third benefit is economic opportunities. Tourism in Desa Pangalipuran has created economic opportunities for the local community residents, often work as guides, sell handcrafted souvenirs, or provides homestays and hospitality service to visitors. This provides income and employment opportunities which can help improve the standard of living of the local community in Bali. The next is cultural exchange. Visitors to Desa Pangalipuran have the chance to interact with the local community, learning about their customs, benefits, and way of life. This cultural exchange fosters understanding and appreciation between Balinese people and tourists, contributing to a more inclusive and interconnected world. The next. Okay. The biggest effect of the tourism-based economy community is education and awareness. As we know together that these activities will help the Bali, especially the community in Bali, to improve their education and awareness. By welcoming tourists and sharing their culture, the community help raise awareness about Balinese traditions and values. These educational aspects not only benefit tourists, but also promotes a deeper understanding of Bali culture among the local themselves. And the most important things is infrastructure development. As we know together that a revenue generated from tourism has allowed the community to invest in infrastructure development. This includes improved roads, better sanitation facilities, and access to clean water, which is this can enhance the quality of life of the residents. Let's move to the next page, please. Okay, in this slide, I'm going to explain the challenge and the opportunities. The challenge is, as we know together, that a lack of infrastructure is always the biggest challenge of any countries in this world, especially Indonesia as the biggest country in Asia. So the main challenge is the lack of infrastructure and research in rural areas that can make it difficult for communities to develop, market their tourism offerings, balancing economic development with presenting cultural and environmental heritage can be a delicate and complex process. Next, please. Okay. Next, let's jump into the opportunities. Community-based tourism can provide economic opportunities for rural communities, particularly for women, marginalized groups by involving local communities in the planning and management of tourism activities. Community-based tourism can help preserve cultural and environmental heritage. Community-based tourism can also promote cross-cultural understanding and exchange, benefiting both tourists and local communities. Next, please. If we talk about the opportunities and challenges, there is always a solution. As we see on the screen, I'm going to explain what the solution that we can do as a community or as a person who really want to improve the quality of the community, especially in Bali. There are several solutions that I provide to all of you guys to address this challenge. Community-based tourism initiative can implement several solutions. First, investing infrastructure development, providing necessary resources to support community-based tourism initiative. As we know together that, and I mentioned earlier, that infrastructure is really important to increase the quality of the community in Bali. And the second is we have to engaging in community-led planning and decision-making to ensure that economic benefits are balanced with cultural and environmental preservation. And last but not least is educating tourists about responsible and sustainable tourism practice and incentivizing them to engage in this practice. So if I can conclude that there are main solutions for me, first, infrastructure development. The second, engaging in community-led planning, and the more important things is increase the educating. Next, please. Okay, I'm going to explain about the summary that I present today. In summary, as we know together that Indonesia, with focus on Bali, serves as a prime example of nation that not only recognize the importance of community-based tourism, but actively support and encourage it. This support, combined with the natural of cultural wonders of the country, makes Indonesia as truly unique and sustainable destination for travel authentic experience. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to encourage all of you to take the next step in discovering the beauty and diversity of Indonesia by visiting Wonderful Indonesia, as we see together in the screen, an initiative from the Indonesian Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, and you will discover more about Indonesia. I would like to leave you with this thought. This community we have discussed today exemplify the spirit of Indonesia, resilience, culturally vibrant and embracing as the future. As we look the future of event tourism in Asia countries, let's remember that the heart of tourism lies in the communities that make it possible. Last, thank you for your attention. That's all for me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much for the wonderful Indonesia presentations from Miss Diva Devina Dewanto. So we're gonna roll to another presenter today, and please welcome on stage with us Miss Intan Mustika from Universitas Nasional, International Relations, with the title of Ecotourism, Understanding and Supporting Environmental Conversations from Wakatobi Island, Sulawesi Tenggara. Time is yours. Once again, there is no session, Q&A on this session, so thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Intan Mustika, majoring in International Relations. Today, I will talk about ecotourism, understanding and supporting environmental conservation in Wakatobi Island, Sulawesi Tenggara. Next. First, I will discuss about the definition and objectives of ecotourism. The definition of ecotourism is a form of tourism that is environmentally responsible, focusing on nature conservation, sustainability, and education. The objectives of ecotourism is to protecting the natural environment, preserving biodiversity, empowering local communities, and raising environmental awareness. Next. The importance of ecotourism. There are several values of ecotourism, including nature conservation, community welfare, and environmental education. First is nature conservation. Ecotourism helps protect natural ecosystems and rare species. Community welfare is to empower local communities by creating jobs, increasing income, and supporting economic sustainability. The third is environmental education, is to enhance tourists' understanding importance of conservation and the natural environment. Next. Positive impacts of ecotourism. First is increased environmental awareness, enhancing global understanding and environmental protection and sustainability. Second is community empowerment, improving living standards and building social infrastructure through sustainable tourism economies. The third is cultural preservation, promoting and safeguarding local culture heritage. Next. Next is tourist rules. So if you guys visiting a place, there are some rules that we must be obeyed. The first is responsibility. Adhering to rules, preserving the environment, and respecting local cultures. The second is self-education, understanding and appreciating nature and culture before visiting a place. The third is supporting sustainability, choosing ecotourism providers committed to sustainable practices. Next. Next is ecotourism destination. In this slide, we will explore about Kepulauan Wakatobi, Sulawesi Tenggara, a jewel of ecotourism in Southeast Sulawesi. Located in Southeast Sulawesi, Indonesia, Kepulauan Wakatobi is renowned for its stunning coral reefs, diverse marine life, and commitment to ecotourism. Home to over 900 species of fish and numerous coral species, Kepulauan Wakatobi actively preserves its rich marine biodiversity. Next. There we can find sustainable tourism and empower community by implementing eco-friendly practices, limiting the number of visitors, and promoting responsible diving and snorkeling activities. And for empowerment community, we can engaging local communities in tourism activities, creating jobs, and supporting local businesses, ensuring mutual benefits. Next. Ecotourism activities in Kepulauan Wakatobi. Overview of marine conservation projects such as coral reefs restoration, protecting endangered species, and promoting responsible diving practices. Snorkeling and diving among vibrant coral gardens, encountering rare marine species, and exploring the diverse underwater ecosystem. The third is engaging with local communities, experiencing traditional customs, testing local cuisine, and understanding the rich culture heritage in Kepulauan Wakatobi. Next. So, Ecotourism is not about witnessing the beauty of nature, but also about preserving it for future generations to enjoy. Let's collectively support ecotourism, preserve biodiversity, and empower local communities for a sustainable future. Thank you for your attention.
Well, what a wonderful presentations from Miss Intan Mustika. And the next presenter is going to be a participant from Zoom who are already joined with us. Please welcome Miss Samiksa Disik from Uzbekistan. Is there Miss Samiksa with us? With us on the Zoom? Yes, we're calling again Miss Samiksa Dixit for her presentation. Hello, Miss Samiksa, are you ready?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So the time is yours, Miss Samiksa.
Is my screen is visible? Yeah, you can have screen. Samiksa, please turn on your video.
Indonesia to Uzbekistan. And now we
Test. All right, thank you very much for the time, Master of Ceremony. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good afternoon, honorable lecturers and distinguished guests, participants, and colleagues. My name is Muhammad Reza Dwi Cahyo. Today, I'm going to present my presentation under the theme of Indonesia's tourism diplomacy. Under this theme, I would like to discuss some topics. These are what is tourism diplomacy, Indonesia's tourism diplomacy, Indonesia's tourism diplomacy strategies, Indonesia's tourism diplomacy development, and etc. All right, next slide, please. So before I'm going to explain the substance, I would like to quote from Liam Stewart. He is a travel writer. He said that Indonesia's beauty is a symphony of emerald jungles, turquoise waters, and a culture as colorful as a rainbow. All right, next slide, please. So without any further ado, I'm going to discuss and talk about what is tourism diplomacy. Tourism diplomacy refers to the use of tourism and related activities as tools for enhancing diplomatic relations between countries. It involves the exchange of tourists, cultural events, and other tourism-related interaction to promote more mutual understanding and cooperation on various levels. Tourism can foster goodwill and understanding between nations by encouraging people-to-people interactions. The exchange of tourists and cultural exchanges can create positive environment for diplomatic relations. Tourism is a significant economic driver in many countries, like Indonesia. It creates jobs, generates revenue, and boosts local economics. Countries that engage in tourism diplomacy to attract foreign tourists and stimulate economic growth. Tourism diplomacy often involves cultural exchange programs, exhibitions, and festivals. These events provide an opportunity for countries to showcase their cultural heritage, traditions, and art. By sharing their culture with the world, countries can foster cultural diplomacy and improve international relations. Therefore, tourism diplomacy plays a crucial role in shaping international relations as countries leverage the economic, cultural, and social benefits of tourism to build stronger diplomatic ties and promote global cooperation. Next slide, please. The next one is Indonesia's tourism diplomacy. Indonesia has a rich history of engaging in tourism diplomacy to promote Indonesia's cultural, natural, and also economic assets on the global stage. Tourism diplomacy involves using tourism as a means to strengthen diplomatic relationship, enhance international understanding, and stimulate economic growth. Indonesia's use cultural diplomacy to showcase Indonesian diverse cultures and traditions to the world. The government has initiated programs like Wonderful Indonesia to promote Indonesia cultural heritage through traditional dances, musics, arts, and cuisines. Festivals and cultural events are also organized to attract tourists, promoting Indonesia culture, enhancing Indonesia to the global image. The Indonesian Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy is actively engaged in promoting the country as a tourist destination. The Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy cooperates with foreign embassies and tourism boards to encourage international tourists to visit Indonesia. Besides that, Indonesia is also actively participates in international organizations and forums related to tourism. This includes Indonesia's role in United Nations World Tourism Organization, or UNWTO, where Indonesia collaborates with other countries to promote sustainable tourism development and share best practices. Hence, Indonesia's tourism diplomacy is an integral part of Indonesia's foreign policy and contributes significantly to Indonesia's economic growth and global recognitions. Next slide, please. The next one is Indonesia's tourism diplomacy strategies. The wonderful Indonesia has developed a range of tourist diplomacy strategies to promote the country as a desirable travel destination, strengthen diplomatic relations, and foster international relations. The Wonderful Indonesia campaign is one of Indonesia's most prominent tourism diplomacy strategies, where it focuses on promoting Indonesia's natural beauty, cultural diversity, and rich heritage to the international community. Besides that, Indonesia also actively promotes Indonesia cultural diplomacy through various means or forms, such as organizing cultural festivals, then performances, art exhibitions, and culinary events. These activities showcase the nation's vibrant and diverse culture and contribute to build positive international relations. Indonesia has been emphasizing ecotourism and sustainable tourism development. Indonesia's tourism diplomacy strategies are designed to maximize the country's economic and cultural potential, foster international relationships with other nations, and promote sustainable and responsible tourism practices. These efforts are crucial for positioning Indonesia as a leading global tourist destination. Next slide. The next one is Indonesia's tourism development. Indonesia has experienced significant tourism development in recent years, becoming a popular travel destination known for its diverse natural beauty, cultural heritage, and unique experience. Indonesia is renowned for its natural beauty, including the rainforest, beaches, coral reef, and volcanoes. The development of ecotourism, which focuses on sustainable and responsible travel, has become an Indonesian priority. Tourists are drawn to destinations like Bali, Komodo Island, and Raja Ampat. And also, Indonesia's rich and diverse culture is a major draw to tourists. The preservation and promotion of cultural heritage sites. And to accommodate the growing number of tourists, Indonesia has invested in developing tourism infrastructure. These include improving airports, transportation networks, hotels, and other amenities. Therefore, Indonesian tourism development is a diverse effort that capitalizes on its natural and cultural assets. By investing in infrastructure, diversifying offerings, and promoting responsible tourism, Indonesia has been successful in attracting an increasing number of foreign visitors to come to Indonesia. The next slide. The next one is Indonesia's tourism marketing. Indonesia has run several tourism marketing campaigns to promote Indonesia as a tourist destination. These campaigns aim to showcase the country's natural beauty, rich cultural heritage, and unique experiences. Indonesia's tourism marketing campaigns aim to position Indonesia, as I mentioned before, as a diverse and attractive travel destination, highlighting Indonesia's natural beauty, rich culture, and unique experiences to attract visitors from around the world. Next slide. So what are Indonesia's future plans and goals in tourism diplomacy? Indonesia has ambitious future plan and goals in tourism diplomacy to further develop and promote Indonesia's tourism sector, strengthen diplomatic relations, and contribute to the country's economic growth. These plans encompass various aspects of tourism development. Indonesia aims to continue promoting sustainable tourism practices to protect Indonesia's natural and cultural resources. These include initiatives to preserve the biodiversity, reduce environmental impact, and support local communities. Besides that, Indonesia also embracing technology and digital marketing as a crucial aspect of Indonesia's future plan. Indonesia intends to expand Indonesia's digital presence to attract travelers and utilize online platform for marketing campaigns. Indonesia will also continue to invest in tourism infrastructure, including transportations, airport, accommodation, and amenities to enhance the overall visitor experiences and accommodate the growing number of tourists. Therefore, Indonesia's future plan has plans and goals in tourism diplomacy demonstrate a commitment to responsible and sustainable tourism development, upgrading Indonesia's cultural and natural assets, and fostering international cooperation and goodwill. These efforts are essential for promoting Indonesia as a leading global tourist destination while preserving Indonesia's environmental heritage. That's all from me. For your attention, I thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Reza, for the presentation. And now, please welcome our next presenter. Our next presentation is far away from India, and join us with all of us in Zoom. Please welcome Dr. Shruti Arora from University of Kota, Kota Rajanti, India. Are you with us?
I'm Dr. Shruti Arora from University of Kota, Rajasthan, India. The title of my presentation is Adaptive Reuse of Historic Buildings for Event Venue.
Dr. Shruti. All right, so let's continue to the next presentation. Please welcome to the stage Miss Siti Fauzia Rizky Amanah from Universitas Nasional International Relations with the title of Indonesian Cultural Diplomacy through the International Gamelan Festival in Solo.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Siti Fauzia Rizky Amanah, majoring International Relations, and I will present a title Indonesian Cultural Diplomacy through the International Gamelan Festival in Solo. Introduction. The evolution of diplomacy and the use of cultural diplomacy with a focus on Indonesia International Gamelan Festival. Cultural diplomacy is emphasized for shaping a country image and fostering trust, particularly in economy and politics. Indonesia multicultural, diverse, and the popularity of gamelan music international are highlighted. Many countries global use cultural diplomacy as in the US, Australia, and the UK. Indonesia use a cultural festival like the International Gamelan to promote the build relationship among gamelan communities worldwide. Indonesian use the International Gamelan Festival in Solo for cultural diplomacy. The approach involved interview and literature to expand include role festival in promoting Indonesian cultural. Next. Research methodology. Research use qualitative research method in international relations to understand and address research question. Qualitative research to describe, explain, and understand phenomena. Case studies are as a suitable method for analysis empirical phenomena. This approach focuses on historical aspect and answer the question like whether who and who is chosen because fits the research contents which investigate cultural diplomacy through the International Gamelan Festival. I mean to answer of how Indonesian conduct this diplomacy in Solo. Next. Theoretical foundation. Cultural diplomacy theory and its role in achieve national interest. Cultural diplomacy involves various actors including government and non-government entities, individual and collective. Cultural diplomacy as the exchange of idea, information, art, and culture between national to promote mutual understanding and advance national interests. Cultural diplomacy is not merely an art performance but also form of soft power that serve political agenda to advance national interest peaceful. To enhance build understanding, appreciation, and positive image, facilitating smooth negotiation between countries. Next, results and analysis. The impact of globalization of gamelan music and this role in international relations through events like the International Gamelan Festival. It emphasizes the principle of dissemination in cultural diplomacy, where a country expresses itself through cultural content. The activity at the International Gamelan Festival include various gamelan performance and international conference on gamelan culture and exhibition showcasing the history and significance of gamelan. Next. Gamelan design and cultural heritage, not a UNESCO item. The gamelan Indonesia traditional music instrument was recognized as an intangible cultural heritage by UNESCO on December 15, 2021, marking the Sud Regional for Indonesia. Gamelan is cultural significant and relates harmony, respect, love, and concern between humans as evident from relief in Borobudur and Prambanan template. The achievement was made right by Minister Nadiem Makarim and Indonesia Ambassador to France and UNESCO, Muhammad Omar. The decision to include gamelan in UNESCO list remarkable. Social limitation and annual station sus inclusion, Indonesia must wait until 2023 to propose new cultural element. The 16th section of UNESCO Integrable Cultural Heritage Community will continue discussion on cultural element and prevention effort. Next. Indonesia Cultural Diplomacy by the Ministry of Education and Cultural through the International Gamelan Festival. National cultural protection in Indonesia involves respecting and advancing cultural heritage. 1. Inventory. This involves collection and managing data about cultural objects through an analytic cultural data collection system ensuring effective cultural advance. 2. Protection. Effort to safeguard the intellectual property right of cultural objects. 3. Preservation. Monitoring and maintaining the condition of cultural objects to prevent potential damage and loss in the cultural environment. Next, cultural exploitation outlined in the law, the promotion of culture, active national goals, culture object. 1. National character formation, promote solidarity among Indonesian citizens through the inclusion of cultural value, innovation, intellectual communication, and cooperation. 2. Increasing community welfare. Utilizing cultural objects for economy purpose will preserving cultural value during processing. 3. Strengthening international rule. Affirm Indonesia global position through cultural diplomacy and international cooperation with other countries. Next, conclusion. The International Gamelan Festival is from Indonesia cultural diplomacy. I am accessing the country international image. It showcases Indonesia cultural heritage, including traditional art, dish, and lifestyle, as part of this diplomatic effort. The festival main goals including generating positive response and media coverage to change international perception of Indonesia. The voluntary participant of action of cultural and participant of PESPUL contributes to Indonesia global image. The festival serves as compelling example of how cultural diplomacy can significantly benefit nation when active managed. Thank you.
Applause to Miss Siti Fauzia. And the next presentate will be Mr. Akash Tyagi from India. Is there Akash Tyagi on the Zoom with us? Is it joined with us today? So join with us, Akash Tyagi.
Yes. Am I audible to you?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Akash. So the PowerPoint will be on us or share screen with Mr. Akash. Oh, all right. So the time is yours, Mr. Akash. right, that's all from Mr. Akash Tiagi. And now we continue to our next presentate. Please welcome on the stage Miss Malika Dwi Puspita from Universitas Nasional International Relations.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, greetings to you all. Thank you for having me. Today I want to present about the role of the ASEAN Tourism Forum in supporting wonderful Indonesia. Next slide, please. In response to the large tourism potential of ASEAN member countries in 1976, ASEAN formed the Bali Concord, which is a cooperation agreement with member countries covering politics, security, economics, and tourism. Over time, this collaboration has developed. In 1981, ASEAN formed a forum called ASEAN Tourism Forum ATF in Genting Highland, Malaysia. The ASEAN Tourism Forum, or ATF, is a regional collaboration that seeks to promote the ASEAN region as a tourist destination. The ASEAN Tourism Forum is the key to tourism development in ASEAN countries, so that through promotion, we can make ASEAN countries a tourist destination that is famous for its friendliness and cultural diversity. Next slide, please. ETF role in increasing tourist visit in Indonesia. ASEAN as an international organization plays a role by providing ATF as a forum for cooperation for ASEAN member states in the field of tourism, and also as a means of communication and guidance for its member states to discuss the condition of tourism, as well as a place where members formulate and implement their programs. The influence of the ASEAN Tourism Forum is very clearly seen in developing the tourism industry in every country in the Southeast Asian region, including Indonesia. Since joining the largest tourism corporation in Southeast Asia, Indonesia has experienced very good tourism growth. This is inseparable from the influence of the ATF, in which there is an MATN agenda, namely a meeting where tourism ministry in the ASEAN region exchange ideas to improve the tourism industry. Since Indonesia joined the ATF, tourist visits have proven to increase yearly. Indonesia promoting in the country abroad has successfully attracted tourism from various countries. WAYUNI in 2018 detailed some of the ATF roles, including, next slide please. First, ATF creates ASEAN Tourism Marketing Strategy, or ATMS, to market the wonderful Indonesia brand. ASEAN Tourism Marketing Strategy is the one of strategy made by ASEAN to market its region, including in Indonesia. Through the ATMS strategy, each member country will be responsible for developing products and attraction by creating two packages. This marketing strategy begins with introducing ASEAN branding, namely Southeast Asia Feel the Warm, as a symbol of ASEAN single destination, which then contains a sub-tagline of each member country that depicts the characteristic of their respective country tourism. The slogan tagline Indonesia of tourism is Wonderful Indonesia. Wonderful Indonesia has been a slogan since January 2011 as an international marketing campaign directed by the Indonesia Ministry of Culture and Tourism. This campaign replaced the Visit Indonesia year that had been in use since 1991. The Wonderful Indonesia concept highlights Indonesia's natural beauty, culture, society, and exciting values to generate foreign exchange. The second is ATF assists Indonesia air connectivity. In its development, air connectivity has been prepared to support tourism, one of which is Yogyakarta International Airport and Lombok Zainuddin Abdul Majid International Airport. In support of ATF 2023, Batik Airline is opening flight routes from Yogyakarta to Singapore and Kuala Lumpur. Next slide, please. The third is ATF organized traffic exchange. Indonesia's partnership with ASEAN countries in tourism promotion because Indonesia is not strong enough to be independent in terms of tourism promotion. Travel the value of business customer or B2C transaction during ATF at 2023 is reached about 8 to 12 billion Indonesian dollars. And this value exceeds the previously set target of 2 billion to 3 billion Indonesian rupiah. Sorry. Fourth, giving awards for the best destination to boost the prestige of Indonesia tourism. So there is 4 awards that ATF give to Indonesia. The first is for the category of the second ASEAN Public Toilet Awards in 2023 to 2024. 2 is the second ASEAN Spa Service Award in 2023 to 2025. And 3 is in the third ASEAN Community Tourism Award 2023 to 2025. And 4, the fourth ASEAN Homestay Award 2023 to 2025. Next slide. Next slide, please. 5. ATF is useful for the promotion of Indonesian tourism investment. Indonesia joining the ATF provide an advantage for Indonesia because Indonesia has weakness in the promotion. The Indonesian government is also less than optimal in marketing in tourism products, so it must increase marketing and branding effort of its tourism products abroad to bring in foreign tourists. It can be seen that ATF has played an essential role in the development and promotion of tourism in Indonesia. ATF has introduced tourist destinations in Indonesia to the international world so that they are increasingly known to the world. This increases foreign tourist visit, contributing to Indonesia 15 foreign exchange and to the economic sector. Even with the event held, there are mutually beneficial transactions or traffic, especially for Indonesia. Next slide, please. So now is the conclusion. The ASEAN International event and the ASEAN Tourism Forum has played a role of in development of tourism in Indonesia. Some of the roles that have been carried out by ATF are ATF acts as the tourism promoter or ATMS to market the wonderful Indonesia brand. 2, ATF acts as an investment corporation forum. And 3, ATF acts as a tourism standardization forum. And 4th, ATF plays a role in increasing tourism visit in Indonesia by giving awards for the best destination to boost the prestige of Indonesia tourism. And 5, ATF organizing traffic exchange to boost economically profitable transaction. The suggestion that is an input in Indonesia tourism is to increase awareness in maintaining natural resources that are maintained and preserved to achieve sustainable tourism. So that's all from me. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Give a big applause to Miss Malika for her presentations today. All right, we continue to the next presenter. We'll invite Anita Punia from India. So she's joining with us via Zoom. So hello, Miss Anita. Are you ready? Anita Punia. Anita. Is Anita Hunia with us right now?
Oke, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Corinne Ridwan. I'm from International Relations Study Program. I'm standing here, I want to presenting a presentation about the title is Banda Neira Island, the latest amazing tourism attraction to improve ecotourism in Indonesia. Okay, slide. Where is my... Okay, there's question for you all. Where is Banda Neira Island? Anybody know? Okay, that's right, Maluku. Okay, the next slide is, I want to presenting about Banda Neira Island. Banda Neira Island, and hidden wonder in the middle of the India Ocean, is a beautiful place in Indonesia, located northward of Seram Island, Maluku. The island is amazing, with the incomparable natural beauty as the clean white beaches, a clear seawater, and colorful coral reef, and make Banda Neira is a paradise for natural lovers and divers. Please, I can see presentation slide. Please slide, operator. Please, next slide. Okay, enough. Stop. In preferred destination, operator. Back. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, enough. Okay, as you can see on the screen, this is an example from favorite destination from Banda Neira Island. And the first is Belgica Fortress and Banda Volcano, and then Dive Blue Motion, and the next is Bung Hatta House of Exile. Okay, next slide. Okay, The beauty of Banda Neira, also known as Banda Neira, is the island in the Banda Neira Island, which is a part of the Paripas of Maluku, Indonesia. The island has a very rich history, especially related to spice trade, especially nutmeg and cloves, which were highly prized during colonial times. Okay, next example of historical tourism in Banda Neira. In the first Belgica fortress, the fortress was built by the Dutch in 1711 as a part of trade effort to secure the spice trade, especially nutmeg and cloves. In Banda Neira Island, religion Belgica fort an example of European defensive architecture built in Indonesia during the colonial period. And the next is Bung Hatta House of Exile. Bung Hatta House of Exile, Banda Neira, is one historical place associated with the important period in modern Indonesian history. After the proclamation of Indonesia independence in the 1945, political struggle and internal tension resulted in difficult situation for several Indonesian national leaders. And the next example from beautiful tourism in Banda Neira. Please, next slide. Next. Okay, next. Okay, next. And the first is Banda Volcano. In Banda Neira, you may enjoy beautiful view and the mountain and green surface. This mountain may not be volcanical active, but there is a beautiful natural paradise. And the next. Dive Blue Ocean. Dive Blue Ocean is Banda Neira is famous for its extraordinary wild marine life. They can enjoy seeing various species of fish and favorable coral reef and rare and exotic nature. Ecotourism in Banda Neira Island, an amazing new tourism attraction to improve ecotourism in Indonesia various. An excellency overview of the island is one attractive ecotourism destination. Banda Neira Island has become the latest tourism attraction that offers stunning natural beauty while ecotourism effort to increase ecotourism in Indonesia. We understanding that Banda Neira Island is not just holiday destination, but also a real example of how ecotourism can empower the local economic will and privacy and the natural beauty environment. The main effort ecotourism is the privacy of the in Banda Neira environment. In Banda Neira environment, and namely preserving coral reef and mangrove forests and marine species that live around the island and protecting historical sites of the island. And the next slide, the last slide. Next. There is quote from Sultan Syahrir, "Don't die before visiting Banda Neira Island." Thank you very much for your attention. And finally, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Karina, for the beautiful presentation. We would like to welcome Ms. Anita, still having with us on the Zoom. Ms. Anita, if you can hear us. Okay, all right. So we will continue to the next presenter. Please welcome on the stage Ms. Nurul Atia Iskila with the title of The Influence of Public Diplomacy in G20 22 Summit in Indonesia Post-Pandemic Tourism Recovery Efforts. From National University, International Relations.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Nurati Eshkila and I'm here as Universitas Nasional student majoring in International Relations. And I would like to present my paper entitled The Influence of Public Diplomacy in 2022 G20 Summit in Indonesia's Post-Pandemic Tourism Recovery Efforts. Please for the slide for my presentation. The slide, please. Okay, next slide. In my presentations, it contains introductions, research methodology, theoretical foundations, result analysis, and the last is conclusion. The first one is introductions. Next slide, please. Indonesia is one of the tourist destination countries in ASEAN region attracting people from all over the world. Indonesia's tourism industry has grown since 2014 and continued to grow in the following years. As expected, it contributes by increasing the economic growth significantly and employment in the tourism sector. This success cannot be separated from Indonesia's public diplomacy efforts to strengthen Indonesia's tourism in the eyes of the international community. Unfortunately, the success of public diplomacy with tourism has slowed since March 2020, when Indonesia was shaken by the outbreak of the COVID-19. It is something that this country, Indonesia, would never imagine. The danger of COVID-19 virus attacking the world has caused a number of countries to implement a blockade policy to limit its spread, including Indonesia, that has implemented a large-scale containment social restraint policy. The decline in tourist arrivals, both domestic and foreign, due to the existence of restrictive policies has caused a domino effect in the form of hotel occupancy rates falling to 0%. The same thing happens to commodity traders, entrepreneurs, and others. Therefore, this leads to mass layoffs of employees. In 2022, the implementation of restrictive policy began to be abolished in some countries as the removal of large-scale social restriction in Indonesia. As of December 2021 until November 2022, Indonesia is designated as the host of the G20 meeting. It is an opportunity for Indonesia to revive the tourism industry through public diplomacy in each round of the G20 activities. The G20 is the leading international forum bringing together governments and central bank governors from 19 countries and the European Union. Established in 1999, the G20 was made to promote global economic cooperation and stability, such as some of the world's largest economies, such as the United States, China, Japan, Germany, and Russia. The G20 provides members with a platform to discuss and coordinate on a wide range of economic and financial issues, including monetary policy, fiscal strategy, trade issues, and more. Next slide, please. In this study, we use a descriptive research method with a qualitative approach. In this method, we use a qualitative data and then we describe it descriptively. This type of research we use to analyze events or circumstances socially, and not only that, this research aims to describe, explain, and answer in detail of the problem studied for social phenomena. This research method, based on the philosophy of post-positivism, used to examine the natural condition of the object as opposed to experimentation, where the researcher is as an instrument. Next slide, please. Travel and human traffic restriction brought by the COVID-19 last through the first quarter of 2022. The government then tested an exemption from quarantine for international visitors in May 2022, and the number of visitors gradually grew. With so many actual meetings taking place as part of the G20 in Indonesia, the quarantine requirement is no longer in effect. Foreign visitors are permitted to visit Indonesia because of the availability of visit or holiday visas for foreigners. The notion of public diplomacy is in harmony with the goals and objectives of the Indonesian government in helping the tourism industry recover economically from the COVID-19 pandemic through the G20 summit in Bali. Public diplomacy theory examines how nation-states and other international players interact with the public at large in order to further their own goals. The approach places strong emphasis on the value of creating relationships and channel of communication with the publics and the governments of various nations. The use of one's appeal and reputation abroad as a form of soft power might then be considered as a public diplomacy. Although it is difficult to overestimate the significance of this aspect of power now, it has been acknowledged by statesmen for many centuries. Next slide. Tourism diplomacy is a benefit taken by the government at the 2022 G20 summit. The government is taking advantage of this moment to restore tourism and the Indonesian economy, which is experiencing a crisis due to the COVID-19 pandemic. These economic benefits are not only felt by large companies, but are also felt by society directly. A series of G20 meetings that have been taking place about several months clearly have a positive impact. Growth in the transportation, accommodation, MSME, and tourism sectors. Not only that, the hospitality sector, especially in Bali, has soared high with the presence of the G20 summit. Even before the implementation of the G20 summit activities, the occupancy rate for hotels in Bali had increased to 45.96%, and this causes the absorption of new workers, considering that many workers have been laid off due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Next slide. According to the chairman of the Indonesian Tourism Industry Association, the G20 summit provided 1.5 to 2 times greater economic benefits in aggregate compared to holding the IMF World Bank annual meeting in Bali 2018. Reporting from the European Directorate Second in 2022, the potential interest of potential foreign tourists wishing to make visits to Indonesia increased by 83.55% from initial targets of 75.54%. This figure was obtained by LKJ European Directorate Second in 2022 from the result of coordination between the Director General of Information and Public Diplomacy with Indonesian representatives abroad. It's been proven that in 1 year since the G20 summit was held, the Central Statistics Agency, or BPS, recorded an increase in the number of foreign tourist visits reaching 1.13 million visits in August 2023. Head of BPS herself said that there was an increase of 68.92% compared to the same month in 2022. Next slide. Next slide, please. And now we're going to the conclusion. 2022 G20 Summit has a positive impact in Indonesia, especially regarding to tourism and economic recovery. The G20 Summit has provided significant economic benefits for Indonesia, helping the recovery of the economy affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. These economic benefits are not only felt by large companies, but are also felt directly by the community, especially in the transportation, accommodation, MSME, and tourism sectors. And along with the public diplomacy, it is an effective tool to generate interest in visiting Indonesia and supporting the recovery of the tourism industry after the COVID-19 pandemic, and foster a positive image of the nation internationally. The G20 summit have a significant and diverse impact not only on the country's economy but also on the tourism sectors. The government plays an active role in sustaining and capitalizing on these positive outcomes to ensure long-term growth and prosperity. That's all my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Good afternoon.
Atya, and the next presenter will be Miss Anita Punia from India. Is there Miss Anita Punia still join with us in Zoom? Hello, Miss Anita. Are you joining us? Hello. All right, so apparently Miss Anita still not here at the moment. And now we continue to the next presenter. Please welcome on the stage Miss Grace Marcela Natalia from Universitas Nasional International Relations with the title of Ecotourism Development Strategy through Capacity Building and Development of Sustainable Tourism Facilities and Infrastructure in Raja Ampat Regency, West Papua Province. It's a very quiet, unique title. Stage is yours, Miss Grisela.
Test. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be here with you. Even though it's cloudy and foggy outside, hopefully you are ready for my research presentation. Before we start, my name is Grace Marcella and I'm studying international relations. Now I'm about to present you the ecotourism development strategy through capacity building and development of sustainable tourism facilities and infrastructure in Raja Ampat Regency West, Papua Province. Next slide. There are 6 points that I'd like to discuss with you today. Begin from the abstract to introduction, research method, then literature review, move to results and discussion, and then wrap it all up with the summary or the conclusion of the research. Next slide, please. Okay. Sustainable development ecotourism has emerged as an alternative way of drawing tourists to visit West Papua. However, problems in the form of obstacles and challenges are often encountered during the development process. By using a qualitative approach through literature study as the method, the purpose of the study is to describe the development of tourism in Raja Ampat West, Papua, Indonesia, which is commemorated annually on May 9th. The outcome is that a marine tourism location is vulnerable to coral and environmental damage caused by overexploitation, which requires strict supervision from all parties to maintain its sustainable carrying capacity, which we'll be discussing it more later during this session. Next slide. Raja Ampat, an underwater tourism icon in Indonesia, is known for its beautiful waters, corals, and even diverse ecosystems, such as tropical rainforests, savannas to mangroves in their coastal areas. It attracts foreign and domestic tourists due to its uniqueness and natural resources. The island also showcases the unique Papuan culture, including tribal dances, wooden instruments, customs and rituals, traditional clothing and weapons, carvings and sculptures, ancient ancestral food, typical Sago food, and archaeological sites. The island's natural beauty and cultural heritage make it a popular destination for tourists. Next slide. Raja Ampat faces challenges in developing ecotourism due to local endangered species, such as turtles, sharks, whales, manta rays, dugongs, and even dolphins. The islands has also faced a surge in tourism due to increasing tourist visits, particularly to villages. However, issues in tourism management, such as low indigenous involvement and environmental damage, persist. The industry's management is dominated by foreign parties, requiring immediate action from the government and stakeholders. Next slide. The Indonesian economy benefits from the global tourism industry, contributing 5.25% to GDP in 2018. Ecotourism aims to promote environmental wisdom and appreciation, raising awareness and contributing to local community economic growth. Therefore, the objective of the research aims to raise awareness, carry capacity for sustainable tourism, and to contribute to the economic growth of local communities. Next, please. So this research is using a qualitative method by reviewing the previous studies to convey the recent conditions and describe tourism in Raja Ampat Regency West, Papua Province, including identifying the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats facing West Papua Province to produce the objective and systematic description. Next. This research utilizes the ecotourism combination concept from Goodwin Vanille and EAA, focusing on ecotourism that preserves the ecological environment, social culture, a form of supervision, and provides economic benefits towards local residents. The development of tourist areas aims to enhance tourism conditions so that tourists can visit, benefiting local communities and the government. Ecotourism involves empowering residents, developing small businesses, improving infrastructure, security, communication, health, and promoting respect for native culture, while encouraging community participation in planning and decision making. Next slide. Ecotourism is a subset of sustainable tourism that consisting cultural, rural, and natural tourism aimed at preserving biodiversity, maintaining the welfare of local communities, and minimizes non-renewable resource consumption and petrochemicals. Therefore, it must satisfy the following criteria, which are small visiting groups, rural locations, eco-marketing activities, and a high market price. Next. According to the carrying capacity of 10 types of tourism, Raja Ampat's tourism potential is 91,275 people per year, with natural resources supporting 7,675 visits per day, or 2,103 tourists from the data that Sutrisno gathered on 2017. Marine tourism contributes 96%, with 5 major potentials, contributing approximately 80% to its total capacity, which are swimming, beach excursions, kayaking, and diving throughout the Raja Ampat area, Dampier and Misol region, as well as Dampier Strait and Southeast Misol. Next slide. The policy is needed to meet the growing number of visitors by incorporating indigenous knowledge into sustainable marine ecotourism. This involves active participation of local communities, preserving biodiversity, and maintaining cultural landscapes. Concession agreements allow marine sasi into marine ecotourism sites to be included, promoting sustainable fishing and resource use. Next slide. Sustainable tourism development minimizes cost and maximizes tourism benefits for the natural environment and local communities, which can be carried out indefinitely without destroying resources. PUPR has allocated 3.75 trillion rupiah in West Papua province for natural resources, roads and bridges, settlements and housing, reaching 44.09% infrastructure development by July 2021. Next slide. So here are the researchers' suggestions for sustainable tourism development. For the first point, the findings suggest that while investors and the public are aware of the environmental concerns surrounding the constructions of hotels, resorts, and homestays, land clearing and the use of unsuitable building materials are still prevalent. Stilt buildings could be used to address this issue to overcome the shortage of fresh water sources and loss of species. The second principle should be applied as not all places require permanent buildings. This approach reduces transportation costs and tourist supervision and allows for development without altering the landscape, such as in the district capital. The third principle is prioritizing local investment in tourism facilities is crucial for sustainable tourism. Community-owned homestays are recommended for residential accommodation, while green resorts are suggested as an option. Due to limited capital, community land ownership should be used as a share in physical development. Next, the community can develop their homes as homestays, benefiting from Raja Ampat tourism and fostering mutual learning and respect. Local governments should issue standard guidelines for residential house use. And then lastly, solar cells are essential for environmentally friendly electricity in lodging areas, but many still use diesel fuel, causing environmental damage. Finally, we can conclude that Raja Ampat, a maritime tourist destination, is sensitive to coral and environmental damage caused by overexploitation, which required a careful surveillance, supervision, and legislation from all parties to maintain its carrying capacity and sustainability. Green development involves planning facilities and infrastructure, identifying tourist sites, homestay building locations and management, development procedures, and using environmentally friendly materials. Communities should be empowered with funding assistance, English education, and operational management training for marine tourism, and utilizing local wisdom in maintaining ecotourism sustainability. Next slide. And that brings us to the end. Thank you very much for your time and your attention. Good afternoon.
What a wonderful presentations and very quite heavy presentation for us to discuss, but that's a very unique one. And now we will invite Miss Anita is still with us for the last time before we end up with our last presented today. Presenter for in this international conference, and for our closing presented, I hope this one will be really good. So please welcome to the stage Mr. Andi Dwi Cahya Karuniawan with the title of Impact of Digital Nomad in Bali, Indonesia, as our closing presented today from Universitas Nasional International Relations. The time is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Andi Dwi Cahya Karuniawan. I'm here as International Relation student from Universitas Nasional. I'm going to tell about impact of digital nomad in Bali, Indonesia. Everyone knows about Bali. Bali is a beautiful island in Indonesia, known for its stunning culture, rich tradition, vibrant culture, and tourist destination. Visitors can enjoy activities like surfing, exploring temples, and savoring delicious Indonesian cuisine in this tropical paradise. Next slide, please. Okay, previous slide, please. Sorry. Okay, what is digital nomad? Digital nomad is digital workers who work without time and place restriction. They generally spend several days, even weeks and months in certain areas, generally in tourist areas with the aim of working as well as vacation. We can say it's like freelancer from around the world is going to Bali and stay for a while. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so there is a website called nomadlist.com. You can search. Based on this website, the Canggu area in Bali is at the top with a score of 4.530 out of maximum score of 5. So Bali is one of popular place that tourists going. Okay, next slide. So there is an impact this digital nomad phenomenon. There is three different impacts that I choose. The first one is improve the economic tourism areas, increasing the country's foreign exchange, and of course, increase micro, small, and medium enterprise. Next slide, please. Yeah, and how tourism stay in Bali as digital nomad. They must have permit status by obtaining a limited stay permit card issued by the local immigration office. So they have to have the card, the visa, it's called digital nomad visa. Next slide, please. Yeah, there is a good things from this phenomenon. Digital nomad can encourage quality tourism and have more impact on the economy in the mass national economic recovery. So if there is a good thing, so there is bad things. Next. Yeah, there is a bad things here. The first one is Balinese people are exposed to foreign influence which cause the local culture to fade. And the second one is the conversion of land from rice fields into villas can cause disruption to food availability in Bali. This is a phenomenon that we have to aware, especially in Bali. Next slide, please. So the conclusion, the presence of digital nomad in Bali increase local economic income, especially hotels and villas. However, apart from that, we also need to worry about the influence of foreign culture, which continues to influence the generation. The government must implement a certain time limit, not only to limit the massive culture acculturation in Bali, but also to minimize the potential for conflict due to prolonged cultural and economic friction. That's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right, what a beautiful presentation from Mr. Andy for closing our international conference today. Is there any presentation from the Zoom, Miss Anita? All right. So first of all, thank you so much, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Please give a big applause for us. Thank you for all of you guys who already attend this conference. And thank you so much for the beautiful and very great presentation to becoming the role model of economy and tourism in ASEAN. Once again, thank you to all speakers, moderator, and distinguished attendees, lecturers, ladies and gentlemen, and all the participants for today's. On behalf of the entire committee on duty today, say goodbye. From your presence, apologize if this event has a shortcoming, both visible and invisible. This is Gabriela Kija signing off. I'll see you guys in the next round. Bye. Oke, semuanya kita foto ke depan ya.